This is Teacher Jenny again, and I am here to discuss to you about absolute value and the integers. So, ito yung topic natin para sa ikatlong linggo ng inyong module. So, this is Mathematics 7. Now, sa ngayon, in our module, meron tayong learning task number 1 on page 13 at nakalagay dyan na we need to illustrate a sea with the following. So, the givens are a crab 5 feet below sea level, a cliff 3 feet above sea level, and a flying bird 4 feet above sea level. Okay? We need to use a vertical number line to help you out in the illustration. But before that, before the illustration, let me show you first a number line. So this number line represented horizontally para makita nyo muna kung ano ba yung mga nasa number line. So on the right side, I have here the positive numbers. And then on the other side, going to the left, we have the negative numbers. At sa gitna, meron tayong 0. Now this is our number line. Represented to horizontally, but we need to represent this vertically para mapakita natin yung illustration ng ating learning task number 1. So let's see. Meron ako ditong number line na ginamit natin vertically. Now, meron tayo ditong crab, smiling crab. We represent this for the 5 feet below sea level. So, tingnan natin. So, nandun siya sa negative 5. Bakit? Kasi below. Next is, we have 3 feet above sea level. So, eto yung 3 feet. Eto yung cliff. Ayan, nasa 3 siya. Sorry. Ayan. And then we have a flying bird 4 feet above sea level. Si bird ay nasa tapat ni positive 4. So, for us to fully understand this illustration, sagutan natin yung mga sumunod na tanong. First question is, what number might be a good representation for the sea level? Ano ba daw yung number na magandang gamitin para ma-represent yung sea level? Ano ba yung sea level? So this one is the surface. Ito. So it represents the sea level number 0. Okay? We have this 0. Next question. How do you represent the distance below and above sea level? So, paano daw natin nire-represent yung below and above sea level? So, as we can see here, na-represent natin yung mga numbers above sea level, na-represent natin siya as negative numbers. Correct? And then, we have those numbers or yung mga bagay na nandun sa above sea level, we represent this as the positive numbers. Correct? Okay, question number 3. How far is the cliff from the sea level? So, since we have this, okay, ayun, ang ating cliff. Now, we have the sea level here represented by 0. So, how far is it? So, since this one step is considered as unit. Ang isang ganito ay isang unit. So, yung unit ay nirepresent natin as 1 foot. Diba? So, meaning to say, how many feet is the distance of the sea level, or I mean the cliff, from the sea level. So, let's count. So, we have 1, 2, 3 step, meaning to say, we have 3 units or 3 feet. So, the distance between the sea level and the cliff is 3 feet. Next. How far is the bird from the sea level? So, this is the sea level, and there we have the bird or the flying bird. Now, how many units are there? Or the distance between the two? So, we have 4, correct? Meaning to say the distance between sea level and the flying bird is 4 units or 4 feet. That is the distance. Next, number 5. How far is the crab from the sea level? So, sea level, going to the crab, we have 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units or 5 feet. Next, what is the distance between the cliff and the crab? So, we have there now the cliff and we have the crab. Now, what is the distance between these two? Let's count. So, I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps, or we consider these as 8 units, o meron tayong 8 feet. Meaning to say the distance between the cliff and the crab is 8 feet. Next question. What is the distance between the bird and the crab? So sa bird naman tayo ngayon and sa crab. So what's the distance between these two? So let's count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So since we have 9 units, so we need to say the distance between the bird and the crab is 9 feet. Okay? So that's learning task number 1. So based on the activity, ano yung mapapansin nyo dito sa mga numbers na yan? So as representation, sa below sea level, ni-represent natin siya as negative numbers, and then sa taas, meron tayong positive numbers. And the sea level, kinonsider natin as 0. So ano kayang tawag natin sa mga yon? So that's what we call the integers. Integers are whole number, not a fractional number, that can be positive, negative, or 0. Meaning to say, positive numbers, 0, and negative numbers are considered as integers. And remember, not a fractional number. So, tingnan naman natin. If those are integers, now based on our question number 5 earlier, how far is the crab from the sea level? At ang sabi natin, ang crab ay 5 units or 5 feet yung distance niya from sea level. Tingnan nga natin, itong crab ay nakatapat siya kay negative 5. Correct? So, meaning to say, nire-represent niya yung below sea level, si crab ay nandun sa parte ni negative 5. But, as we can see, if we're gonna ask for the distance, since we're looking for how far is the crab from the sea level, meaning to say we're looking for the distance. At pag binilang natin yan, we have 5 units or that's 5 feet. Meaning to say, if we're asking for distance, it will never be a negative number. That will always be positive kasi we're looking for distance. And that's what we call the absolute value. Ibig sabihin, absolute value of a number represent as this. Yung merong dalawang guhit tapos merong number sa loob is the distance of a given number on the number line from 0. So, meaning to say, ang absolute value daw ay ang distance ng isang number from 0. Okay? The absolute value of a number disregards the direction from where it lies with respect to 0. So, ibig sabihin daw, yung absolute value daw niya ay distance ng isang number from 0 kahit saan siya papunta. Okay, whether it is going to the right, to the positive number, or to the left, or the negative numbers, lagi siyang positive. Why? Because when we talk about distance, it is always positive. Meaning to say, if we're gonna get for the absolute value of a number, ang lagi nating sagot ay positive numbers. Let's have an example. So we have illustrative example number 1, and we're looking for the distance of 6 from 0. Ano daw yung distance ng 6 from 0? Meaning to say, we're looking for the absolute value of 6. Representing this in a number line, we have here 0, and I have here my 6. Now, how many units are there from 0 going to 6? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So meaning to say may 6 tayong units, the absolute value of 6 or positive 6 is positive 6. Okay? Next, illustrative example number 2. Nasa module nyo din to. Represent negative 4 on the number line. So we have here, meaning to say, if we're looking for the absolute value of negative 4, the distance of negative 4 from 0. Oh, how many units are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Look, kahit nasan siya papunta, pa kanan, pa kaliwa, ang absolute value, tumitingin lang naman tayo, ilang unit ba from 0? And that is 4 units, meaning to say, the absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4 because we have 4 units. Okay? Next. Simplihin natin, tingnan natin, what's the absolute of negative 10? Lagi yang positive, so that is positive 10. Next, what's the absolute value of 8? Positive 8. So that is positive 8. What's the absolute value of negative 12? That is positive 12. What's the absolute value of negative 5? That is positive 5. And the absolute value of positive 4, we have positive 4. Ang dali, di ba? So that's absolute value. Always positive. Next, we have here illustrative example number 3. Represent the absolute value of -5 added to the absolute value of -3 on the number line. So, isa-isahin muna natin. So, I have here my number line and this is my 0. So, ang unang given ay the absolute value of -5. Meaning to say, we're looking for the distance of -5 from 0. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, how many units? We have 5 units. Now, i-add daw natin siya sa absolute value ng 3. Meaning to say, the distance between 0 and +3. Going to +3, we have 1, 2, 3. So, meaning to say, we have 3 units. And if you add this together, the answer will be +8. Therefore, if we're gonna ask for the absolute value of -5 plus the absolute value of 3, since tingnan natin, ang absolute value ng -5 again is +5, at ang absolute value ng +3 ay 3, meaning to say 5 plus 3, that is +8. Next, illustrative example number 4. What is the value of this negative or absolute value of -5? Meaning to say, meron tayong negative sa labas. Tama? Tapos, kukunin daw natin yung absolute value ng -5. Una natin gagawin, kopyahin lang natin si negative. Iiwan siya dyan kasi wala naman siya sa loob ng absolute value natin o itong sign nating dalawang guhit sa gilid. Now, pagbaba natin ng negative, pagsulat natin ng negative, kunin naman natin yung absolute value ng -5. And the absolute value of -5 is +5. Meaning to say, therefore, negative or the absolute value, negative then absolute value of -5 is equal to -5. Again, copy the negative and then get the absolute value of -5, which is 5. So, bakit ba natin dinidiscuss tong absolute value? Ano bang use niya? So, this absolute value plays a vital role in performing operation on integers. So, later on, let's study the illustrations and analyze carefully the discussions that will follow. So, sabi ko nga, kapag tinanong ko ang isang bata, ang grade 7 student, ng 5 plus 5, madali nilang masasabi na that's 10. Kasi very common na sa atin na mag-add ng positive numbers. Sobrang dali. Pag tinanong ko ng 11 plus 12, so that is 23. Correct? So that's very easy. 5 plus 5, that's 10. Pero in this case, sa integers, medyo mahirap na para sa atin kapag may negative numbers. Diba? Medyo nakakalito na. So that's the use of absolute value. That's why we have absolute value. It helps in performing operations on integers. So let's have this one. First is addition of integers. I-try nga natin. In adding integers, let us represent muna para madalian tayo. Meron tayo ditong positive integers ay nire-represent nitong diamond na white. And we have the negative integers ay nire-represent nitong shaded na diamond or yung kulay gray. Okay? Again, pag positive, itong white. Pag negative, itong gray. Now, let's have an example. In your module, we have illustrative example number 1. So, meaning to say, I have here 3 white diamonds. So, this is positive 3. Correct? And then 2 white diamonds, meaning to say this is positive 2. If we add positive 3 to positive 2, what's the answer? Positive 5. Okay, very easy. This is very common. Positive 3, positive 2, if you add, that's positive 5. Therefore, if you add two positive integers, just add the two integers and then copy the positive sign of it. Okay? So, meaning to say, ganun lang kadali. Yung common para sa atin. Parang 10 plus 10, so that's 20. Positive 4 plus positive 5, that's positive 9. What if we'll encounter this one? I have here this 3 gray diamonds. So, meaning to say this is negative 3, correct? And then, itong dalawa dito na shaded na diamond, this is negative 2. Now, if we're gonna add negative 3 and negative 2, ang gagawin lang natin is just, there, we have negative 5. Yung negative 3, tingnan lang natin, i-add lang natin yung absolute value niya. So, we have 3 plus 2, that is 5. And then, kopyahin lang natin yung negative sign since both of them are negative. Okay? Pag tinanong ko kayo, what's negative 2 plus negative 2? That's negative 4. If I'm gonna ask you negative 3 plus negative 1, that's -4. Just add the integers and then copy the negative sign if both negative. Okay? Next, what if I have here different sign? So, meron na tayo ditong 3 white na diamond, meaning to say, this is a positive 3. Now, I have here 2 gray diamonds, and this is negative 2. So, how to add a positive number and a negative number? So, we have steps in doing this. So, first is, let's subtract muna yung kanilang absolute value. Ulit, pag magkaiba yung sign, isa positive, isa negative, ang gagawin natin, isubtract muna natin yung kanilang absolute value. So, wag natin pansinin yung mga sign nila. So, we have the absolute value of this is 3, correct? And this one, 2. Ipagsasubtract mo lang siya, even though it's addition, kasi nga magkaiba yung sign. Ulit, isubtract muna, that's first step. And the answer is 1. Now, paano natin malalaman? Dapat ba positive siya or negative? It is based on the absolute value. Tingnan natin, ano ba mas malaki? Itong 3 o itong 2? Mas malaki yung 3. At si 3, meron siyang positive sign. So, siya yung susundin natin. The answer is positive 1. Another. I have here negative 3 and then positive 2. Pag in-add natin siya, since we have different sign, one is negative at yung isa ay positive, ulit, ano yung first step? First step ay, kunin muna natin yung absolute value niya. So, 3, ito ay 3, ito ay 2, and then let us subtract. Okay, subtract natin since magkaiba yung sign. And the answer is 1. Ngayon, ano susundin kong sign? Is it positive or negative? Try to look. 'Di ba? Mas malaki si 3 kaysa kay 2. Eh si 3 ay negative. So meaning to say, the answer is negative 1. Meaning, negative 3 plus positive 2, the answer is negative 1. Again, to add positive and negative integers, just subtract the two integers and then copy the sign of the larger absolute value. So, sige nga, subukan natin. Paano naman to? 5 plus negative 3. So, we have 5 plus negative 3. Ipagsasubtract lang natin yung 5 at saka yung 3. And the answer is 2. Ngayon, anong sign? Since mas malaki si 5, positive si 5. So, positive 2. Correct? Okay, next. Negative 7 plus 4. Since magkaiba, isa ay negative, isa ay positive. Pag pinag-plus natin yan, 7 minus 4. And the answer is 3. Now, ano mas malaki? 7 or 4? So, 7. So, meaning to say, we'll copy negative sign. So, we have negative 3. Next, tingnan natin to. We have here, this one is positive 1 and negative 1. If we add them, since magkaiba yung sign, sabi natin isa-subtract, diba? So, absolute value nito ay 1 and then 1 minus 1, that's automatically 0. So, meaning to say, therefore, na kapag ka ang dalawang numbers na binigay or yung integers, isa ay positive at isa ay negative, pero pareho sila ng absolute value, meaning to say, they are both 2, meaning to say, the answer is always 0. Next, sa conclusion, ulit, pag pinag-plus natin ang positive sa positive, just add the two integers and then copy positive sign. If negative and then negative, just add the two numbers and then copy negative sign. Yun lang. Pero pag magkaiba ng sign or we have one is positive and one is negative, the first step is subtract the absolute value ng dalawang number or subtract the number itself. Huwag natin pansinin yung sign. So, isa-subtract natin tapos ang ifa-follow nating sign is the sign of the integer with larger absolute value. Kung ano yung mas malaki yung absolute value or yung number, yun yung sign na susundin natin. Next, yung mga rules na yon ng addition ay wag nating kakalimutan. Bakit? We need to use those rules in dealing with subtracting or subtraction of integers. Okay, let's have an example. So, meron ako ditong illustrative example number 4 na nasa module nyo. And this one, it represents negative 4 minus 2. Correct? So, since meron tayong apat na shaded na diamond at dalawang shaded na diamond sa kabila, so we have negative 4 minus 2. Ang unang step para tayo ay makapag-subtract ng integers ay change the operation to addition. So, instead of this as subtraction, babaguhin natin siya. Magiging addition siya ngayon. So, we have this 4 shaded diamond plus to shaded diamond. Okay? Ulit, change the operation to addition. Nagbago yung operation to addition. Step number 2, change the sign of the subtrahend. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin na nagpalit na tayo ng addition dito, ay tapos na yun, i-add na natin. No. We need to change the subtrahend. Ano ba yung subtrahend? Yung subtrahend, yun yung binabawas natin. Yun yung pangalawang number. So, since I have this addition already for step number 1, kailangan ko ding baguhin na itong pangalawang number, itong negative 2 dito, di ba? Ito ay negative 2. We need to change this to positive 2. Kaya naging white siya dito. And then after changing the operation and after changing the sign of the subtrahend, nun pa lang natin i-apply yung rule ng ating addition. So which is, follow the rule of our addition, we have, okay, negative 2. Because negative 4 plus positive 2 is we have negative 2. Okay, para mas madali nating maintindihan, tingnan nga natin. We have here negative 8 minus positive 5. Sabi natin, the first step in subtracting integers. So, subtraction yan ha. Huwag tayo malilito. Subtraction, the first step is change the operation to addition. So, instead of subtraction, gagawin natin siyang addition. So, we have now negative 8 plus positive 5. So, hindi porket napalitan na natin, tapos na yon. We need also to change the sign of the subtrahend. Again, ano yung subtrahend dito? Yung positive 5. So, ano mangyayari kay positive 5? Magiging negative 5. So, we have now negative 8 plus negative 5. Ulit. We change the operation at first, and the second one, after changing the operation, we need to change as well the sign of the subtrahend. Pinalitan natin ang operation to addition. Pagkapalit, pinalitan din natin yung sign ng subtrahend. Okay. After that, we're done with the first step and second step. Yung third step naman ay i-follow na natin yung rule of addition since addition na siya at napalitan na natin yung subtrahend. Now, negative 8 added to negative 5, both negative. So, the answer is negative plus negative, i-add lang, and the sign is negative. And that is negative 13. Therefore, negative 8 minus positive 5 is equal to negative 13. Another one. I have here negative 7 minus negative 10. First step, change the operation to addition. So, we're gonna have negative 7 plus negative 10. Second step, palitan daw natin yung sign ng subtrahend. So, napalitan na natin itong plus, palitan naman natin yung subtrahend. So, we're gonna have negative 7 plus positive 10. Ngayon, napalitan na natin yung operation to plus at napalitan din na natin yung subtrahend from negative, naging positive na siya. Meaning to say, we can apply now the rule of addition. So, negative 7 plus positive 10, magkaiba ng sign. Isa negative, isa positive. Anong gagawin natin? We need to subtract them. So, what is 10 minus 7? So, we have 3. Ano susundin nating sign kaya? Positive, negative. Okay, positive kasi mas malaki si 10. So, we have the final answer is positive 3. Therefore, negative 7 minus negative 10 is equal to positive 3. Okay, so let's have this last one. This is additional activity. Pero wala to sa module nyo para lang ma-practice natin. So let's try. I have here this represent the shaded part. I have negative 3 plus negative 2. So what's the answer? That is addition of two negative numbers. I-add lang sila and copy negative sign. So that's negative 5. How about number 2? Meron tayong positive 4. I-add daw sa positive 3. Two positive number. Very easy. So that is 7. Number 3. Sa number 3, meron akong negative 3. I-add siya sa positive 2. So anong mangyayari? Negative 3 plus 2. So different sign. Isa negative, isa positive. Ang gagawin natin ay isa subtract. Okay, the answer is 1. But we're not yet done. Ano kayang sign? Since mas malaki si 3, negative. So the answer is negative 1. Number 4. I have here positive 3 minus negative 2. Okay, minus na yan ha. So let's have here 3 minus negative 2. Yan, sorry, ang pangit na sulat ko dito. Okay, so we have 3. Papalitan daw na natin yung operation na subtraction to addition. Lagi tayong addition. Okay, so and then as we change the operation to addition, kailangan din natin palitan yung sign ng subtrahend. So since ang subtrahend natin is -2, magiging positive 2 siya. So what is 3 plus 2? The final answer is 5. Okay, let's have number 5. So I have there -4 minus positive 1. So the first step sa subtraction is hindi tayo magsasubtract, but we need to copy the first number and then change the operation. Yung minus magiging plus. And then positive 1 magiging negative 1. So what is -4 plus -1? Rule of addition. Pagpa-plus ng dalawang negative, meaning to say just add them, so that's 5, and copy negative sign since they are both negative. So the final answer is -5. Okay? So it's your turn. You need to answer your e-face on your modules. Okay? Meron tayo dong addition and subtraction. So ito yung dalawang yan. So kailangan nyo gawin.